This should make every American really angry.
When you're told gerrymandered, and we have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor.
So the jobs numbers came out today.
Donald Trump is livid about the July jobs report, and I know what you're thinking.
A reporter just asked Trump about Epstein, and he did not take it well.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny, and today is one of those videos that I really enjoy making because the past 7 days we have experienced Trump meltdown. Today is actually going to focus on 2 topics. One is that Texas issue, and 2 is obviously the job reports that led to him firing the BLS chief. The Texas issue, of course, is the Democrats who have been issued the warrant of arrest because they have technically walked out of the session, and Governor Abbott went ahead and tried to find some arrest warrant in order for them to return to the sitting. It's kind of like it pissed off Trump a little bit, and we're gonna see how he reacted to it. So without much further ado, let's head straight into the video.
A reporter just asked Trump about Epstein, and he did not take it well. Watch.
Is Vice President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw a report today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit. Okay?
And this isn't even the first time he's lashed out or called it bullshit publicly on camera. He's acting so guilty. Like, this is how you respond if you're guilty. Like, he genuinely could have just went to the next question as soon as JD Vance was done answering. But he couldn't. He physically could not stop himself from responding.
This should make every American really angry.
When you're told gerrymandered, and we have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor, and we have good people in Texas. And I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
That's Donald Trump, of course, talking about the 5 seats he is trying to steal in Texas through a mid-decade gerrymander that is utterly uncalled for, unneeded, and very likely illegal. And I just want to be very clear that everybody in America understand that when he says we are entitled to 5 seats, that is false. No one is entitled to any seats. This is the Republican mindset in a nutshell. If we can steal it, we are entitled to it. It is grabbing an entire country by the you-know-what. That is not the way democracy works. You're not entitled to seats. You earn them. Through being a good lawmaker and a public servant who cares about the people you are representing and wants to help them. But not Donald Trump. He is entitled to whatever seats he can take or steal or rig. He is entitled to enrich himself off of the presidency. He is entitled to move Ghislaine Maxwell to a low-security, cushy prison because he is entitled to pardon her if he wants to, because he is entitled to cover up whatever his involvement was with Jeffrey Epstein. He's entitled to that Qatari jet. He's entitled his entire life. He and every other rich elite who have been profiting off of our system, entitled to take what they want and leave the rest in ruins. I don't care how long you have been supporting this man, really. You're going to let him essentially grab you by the you-know-what? He's not entitled to anything. He's supposed to earn it, but he never has. It is time to call him out on it. It is time to stand together as a country, regardless of party. He's not entitled to those 5 seats. He should be doing a good enough job that people want to vote for Republicans, but he's not. He's doing a lousy, horrible job. And guess what he says when people say your poll numbers are terrible? Those are fake, because he also believes he's entitled to an alternate version of reality. But guess what? He's only entitled to it as long as you give it to him. So stop. Because guess what, America? You're entitled to better than this. Don't forget it.
Exactly. And that is why those Democrat lawmakers abandoned the sitting, because of things like this. I thought that if you want to create more seats, then it's meant for these 2 parties to fight for fairly. Not that you're creating these seats to favor only Democrats or to favor only Republicans. It doesn't make sense you forcing the other party to sit down and to vouch for these changes that are not going to favor them. And you see him commenting about this stuff and saying that those Democrat lawmakers are cowards, or they do not like the law, or they do not love their country. But it's things like this that make them try to disrupt the quorum of the House in order for that session not to go ahead. If you would have good intentions for the people of Texas, then these lawmakers would have sat down and ensure that the session goes on as planned. It's one of those that is making some MAGA supporters to raise their eyebrows, to feel like this person that we supported might not have our interest in hand. He might just want to enrich himself in this position that he is right now. The other topic that we're gonna dive into is, of course, the issue of jobs. There's a video I made about how Trump fired the BLS chief. So we're gonna listen to people's opinions about that, and also a clip of him having a meltdown because simply the boss got it right.
The whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit. Okay?
A beautiful girl who was 17 or 18 applied to be a waitress. She's so beautiful. She's like a world-class beauty. And my people came, she said, "Well, Mr. Trump, she has no experience. So I interviewed her anyway, because she was so pretty." You know, she worked in my plan. That's like a death wish for me, right?
So the jobs numbers came out today. And just like the past 2 months, they were the worst jobs numbers we've seen since the pandemic, marking 3 straight months with just terrible jobs numbers. I mean, I guess that's kind of to be expected when you put a person with multiple bankruptcies in charge of, the most powerful economy in the world. And how did our stable genius president react to these horrible numbers? Well, he shot the messenger, essentially. Yeah, that's right. He fired the commissioner of labor statistics for, telling him something he didn't like to hear. I mean, at this point, Donald Trump is just your classic cartoon villain, where he basically is like off with your head if you tell him something that he doesn't like. Because, that's what a stable genius kind of guy would do. We are in so much trouble, people. Really, really bad.
I just talked to Joe Bruce-Willis. He's the chief economist over at RSM. And he said, this report that we just got, when you look at the July numbers and the revisions, he says this is the worst major economic report we've gotten since the end of the pandemic era.
So in today's news of As the White Hood Turns, economists are now predicting that we have hit a recession. Like we knew it was coming. But apparently it is here. So they are reporting that there has been a complete slowdown in the jobs market. Manufacturing is not making the comeback that he told MAGA that it would make. We all heard about him firing the director of the BLS because she reported accurate jobs numbers. He didn't like them, so he fired her. And basically, the economy is tanking daily. But what makes me giggle a little bit, because we're all feeling it, so I'm not laughing at them necessarily, but this article is referring to it as the redneck recession. Because the people who are going to be hit the hardest with this is basically his entire MAGA base. I'm not talking about the millionaire and billionaire class of this. They only make up about 1% of the MAGA base, right? The remainder of it is working class, what is referred to as lower middle class, rural voters. They're the ones who are suffering the most. But the problem is, it's not like nobody told them that this was coming. And yet they still chose to believe the con man in chief. he's over here robbing Peter and ain't giving a fuck about Paul. All that money he's making on his side deals, his crypto deals, and all of that. The only thing that is actually doing well right now is AI. And if you own stocks in any companies that are tied to anything to do with artificial intelligence, yeah, you're going to see some money in your portfolio. You're going to see some really good long-term gains. But them people out there ain't got that. And they just announced that they're going to cut out a whole bunch of food that people can purchase on their EBT cards. Nothing. You're not going to be able to buy chips. You're not going to be able to buy any of those little cartons of fruity drinks and anything like Kool-Aid. None of that. Nothing with refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup. All of those things are no longer going to be able to be purchased. So those people who are getting quite a bit of money on their EBT cards, once they have to reapply, they're about to find out that the only thing you're going to be able to afford on that is some cabbage, maybe a couple of tomatoes, and a bunch of ground beef. Okay.
Donald Trump is livid about the July jobs report, and I know what you're thinking. Isn't he always mad about something anyway? Sure, you got me there, I'll give you that. But this time, it's not like migrants or mail-in ballots. It's just fucking math. See, the latest numbers came in low, way lower than expected. Only 73,000 jobs were added in July. And even worse, the numbers from May and June were revised down by a combined 258,000 jobs. That's over an 80% correction. So what does Trump do? Does he take responsibility as the guy currently in charge? Does he say, damn, maybe those tariffs and trade wars are hurting us, guys? Hell no. He hops on fucking Truth Social and blames a Biden appointee, Dr. Erica McIntyre, the Commissioner of Labor Statistics. He says she faked the numbers before the 2024 election to boost Kamala Harris's chances, and now she's doing it again just to make him look bad. And as I record this, he's already fired her. He didn't call for a press conference, didn't wait for a formal review, just rage posted on Truth Social and then fired the woman in charge of the numbers he doesn't like. But he wasn't done there. He came back online to accuse the same agency of fabricating jobs for Biden. He claimed that right before the 2024 election, they fabricated the numbers and then revised them down over 818,000 jobs when the election passed. A move he calls a total scam. Because when the economy stumbles, Trump doesn't look in the mirror. He decides he needs to fire the messenger and then threaten the Fed chair with a retirement home. And of course he says they're doing all of this just to make Republicans and him look bad. But let's be real. Donald Trump doesn't need anyone's help looking bad. He's been running that operation solo for quite a few years at this point. But hey, once Trump installs his own loyalist at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you'll finally see some real numbers, not the fake news math that you've been getting lately. That first month, 1 bajillion jobs added. Unemployment, -12. Such success. Because if the truth won't serve him, he'll just fire it and make up a better one.
Let me get this straight. When you're asking for votes, you say that you're gonna release Epstein list. But when it reaches the time to release the list, when you're asked about it, you say it's a hoax and it's a divergence of attention. They say a promise is a debt. You want to tell me that you're comfortable sitting with that debt and you wanting us to believe that right now, just because you got power, that it automatically turned into something that is not important or something that is a hoax? I mean, Trump is really playing with the mind of the people that voted for him. And also, it seems like a sort of betrayal to the MAGA supporters. What I do think about the Epstein list is that maybe he's in there and he's seen that, and maybe he has been warned by, obviously, the handling agency. Maybe he's been told it might not be in the good of his image to actually release those files to the public. Personally, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I know he's there. I don't care about it. That's some rich people stuff. Let's hop into this topic now. Jobs. You know, when Trump entered office and boasted about creating so many jobs that unemployment really plummeted, just like the last speaker said, it dropped by 12%. You know, when he said that, I was like, wait, this does not make sense. So you come in and say you've created more jobs, but in real sense, the Dodge department is actually removing people off the jobs. Look, USAID has fallen. Some government workers have been removed from our office. The education department is being disbanded. Of course, if it's being disbanded, people who are working in that department are going home. So what jobs are you creating? People working in fields are being raided by ICE and farmers are losing in so much. What jobs are you talking about? Tariffs has hit. These departmental stores and grocery stores are losing, and you're saying you've created jobs. Where are these jobs coming from? Or where were these jobs created? Like, give us a rough estimate or give us an evidence of these jobs that were being created. I might give him, maybe he created jobs that I did not, maybe I have not read so much articles or done my research on this matter, and maybe jobs actually were created. Let us talk about it realistically. If this is a graph of jobs, like Y against X axis, Trump starts his tenure and jobs are rising. It reaches a point in any other graph where something that is growing exponentially reaches an optimum level. Like, there is no much to go further up. So there is a point where someone has to reinvent themselves in order to go further up, or if they don't, it starts being a plateau or a table somewhere and then it falls. So it might be that January, February to March to April, then May, then June, then July. You know the trend? So he has to reinvent himself in order for the jobs to rise. But if he denies the truth or he denies the figures, then it means that even in reality, it's not practical. It's either he accepts that things are going so bad and he goes back to the drawing board and looks at the statistics and discuss with people who actually know more about that sector. Then he can reinvent himself. He can find out ways in which he can improve on those numbers so that he can actually come up with better results in the month of August and also September. It's very much possible. There's no way in the world where a leader has created jobs so further up that it's grown exponentially without it reaching an optimum level and eventually falling. Sometimes you might have created jobs for so many people to a point that there is no more people to employ, and hence the graph will also fall, and hence the numbers that this BLS chief reported might be true. So it actually supports her theory rather than Trump's theory. It's kind of messed up, but hey, that's just how I look at it. Let me know what you do think. It's at this point that I leave this forum to you. Please don't be shy to share your comments. It's always open down there below. Your opinions or thoughts would be really helpful. Also, don't forget to check the original creators. Their usernames have been embedded in the Stitch videos as always. Go on to their TikToks, like, follow for this channel. Make sure you smash a huge thumbs up button. Consider subscribing, turn on post notifications so that you may not miss my next upload. And with that, guys, let me meet you in the next one. Peace out.